Welcome back to the Southern Quality Ford Friday Night Blitz. That could have been the final countdown. Yeah, it probably should have been the final countdown. It's the final count. Nobody wants to hear me sing. Anyway, we got several games we want to talk about. First, before we get into all the games that we've got video of, we weren't at the North Caddo game. You want to talk about this game because they got a big win tonight.
I do. Kudos to Coach Johnny Cavanaugh and the North Caddo Rebels up there. 62-28 over Mangum. I'm not sure if it was homecoming or not up there, but just a huge win. Also, an emotional win. It was a year ago today that Les Mason, offensive line coach, passed away, and he was not only an offensive line coach, he was just an incredible mentor to those kids in that community. And I just, I want to send my thoughts to his family, and not only the family, but the players that was his extended family up there. Coach Mason's daughter spoke this morning at the FCA prayer breakfast that has been going on as a tradition up there. So that starts at 7 a.m. at the First Baptist Church in Vivian. So they had a long, emotional day, and I'm just proud. Jaden Carter, their quarterback, was back tonight, and he went off.
Showed out a little bit.
He showed out. I don't know the stats there. Coach Cavanaugh is probably still up there trying to figure out how many yards he has passing and rushing, but just a great kid, and kudos to Coach Cavanaugh and the North Caddo Rebels.
Big win up there tonight.
Absolutely. Talking about another big win, big time game. It was our game of the week. Pleasant Grove, Carthage, number 1 and number 2 in our NBC6 Top 25 poll, and this game did not disappoint. Early on, trading blows early on. We see that Pleasant Grove defense making plays, and
defensive line is so good.
This one was 7-7 there at half. Second half, Pleasant Grove takes an early lead. Carthage takes off rest of the way. Ends up being a 35-14 final score there.
Yeah.
Big win for Carthage.
It's a huge win for Carthage. Pleasant Grove's one of those teams, and we've talked about it all year, that they could win a 4A Division II state championship. They're that good. And for Carthage, yes, they're a 4A Division I team, one division up. But, man, when you see a team come in and finish the way Carthage did today, maybe Carthage could win a state championship in 4A Division I.
I know that guy probably liked what he was seeing. That's Chad Morris there. Chad Morris flies into the game on a helicopter. Lands right back. We used to hear about the swag copter with Kevin Sumlin at A&M. Yeah. Chad Morris might have himself a swag copter there.
Does that mean there's a lot of athletes on the field when the helicopter flies in and lands behind the stadium? I think it might.
So.
And then there's a Power 5 football coach comes walking into the stadium. Yeah.
I think I saw something that in that game alone, there were over 20 athletes that have college football offers.
Crazy.
That's ridiculous.
That's nuts. 3 of them have Power 5 offers just on Pleasant Grove's defensive line.
That's amazing.
Let's go back to Louisiana and talk about our next one. Captain Shreve Parkway, looked like it was going to be a pretty good District 1 5A matchup, but Captain Shreve jumped on them early and often.
Yeah, when I got to this game, they were up 13-7. And then it was kind of a stalemate for a little while. But then Captain Shreve found that gear on their offense and started, clicking. Scored a touchdown right before I left, and then they tacked on 2 more. They actually had a short field on the next drive because before I got to the car, Jerry, the Parkway had fumbled the kickoff, and Captain Shreve had it on like the 5-yard line. So
I know Darius Grant coming back, has I can see just from the highlights that's helped them, and again having 2 stud running backs back there, and Ladarian Frierson and DJ Fleming helps Grant, helps that offense go, and offensive coordinator Coy Brotherton.
It's kind of not bad to have Kendrick Law out wide as well.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think Law was injured at the end of the track season when the 4 other guys won the state 4x100 meters down at LSU.
Talking about another team that has a lot of athletes out there, Houghton Buccaneers. They have, just some of the numbers they put up today. Peyton Stovall, over 400 yards passing with, I believe, 5 touchdowns. C.J. McWilliams goes for over 100 yards. Matthew Witten goes for over 100 yards as 2 receivers. That's not even mentioning Tristan Sweeney.
Right.
Tristan Sweeney's a man.
He is, and he was the third best. You know, when you're talking about the stats tonight, I believe Witten and C.J. McWilliams had over 200 yards of receiving tonight, and I believe Sweeney was, you know, somewhere right in there. But Stovall 463 yards of passing tonight, and that doesn't include probably about 150 yards that they completed balls, but had to come back on holding penalties.
This Houghton team, you know, each week you think, okay, yeah, I've seen them, they're very good, and then it just seems like each week it's more and more. Your eyes just kind of get wider watching this offensive outpouring.
For me, the build-up for Houghton, like I thought Houghton's going to be a really good football team, but that East Ascension game, they were up, what, 41-10?
They're right. And, you know, the thing I see in Houghton is the defense. You know, I mean, they've had offensive guys through the years that have gone on, but now you got defensive players. Jake St. Andre, Kalon Chappell, the leading sack master, I'll call him, or sack daddy like Louisiana Tech called Ferguson. But, you know, Coach Gary Smith, defensive coordinator, former head coach in the area, doing a tremendous job with that defense. And, you know, that's what has impressed me, because they've always had athletes on the offensive side of the ball.
Talk about District 1-4A, Northwood Falcons. They lose tonight to Wassman, but this isn't, you know, a pushover Wassman team. Wassman, very good there at the 3A level. In Northwood, they put up 30 points in this one. Not a bad showing, but not really what we're used to out of a Northwood team. Especially
on homecoming. I know, you know, that they're a little disappointed, and I heard so many good things from them about last week's performance. And you know, when you have a great performance and everything goes right, it's hard to come back the next week and get everything right again. I mean, it's hard for any, you know, Dallas Cowboys, Saints, I don't care who you're talking about.
And you're talking about 16 to 18-year-olds.
Exactly, exactly. During homecoming week, you know, I mean, with all the distractions and getting the corsage and getting the date and taking pictures and getting the haircut, you know, you got, you know, as a former head coach, I know a little bit about those things, but you know, we mentioned it earlier, Northwood's going to be fine in that District 1-4A race. They're going to be in with them, Evangel. You know, that's going to be a great ball game.
Absolutely. Well, I don't know that we have time yet to get into one more game. Do want to say, Jerry, thank you very much for joining us on this week's show. It's always a pleasure when you come join us. Good luck with all the VSN games going forward for the rest of the season. Hopefully, no more technical issues. I don't have wood in front of me to knock on, but hopefully everything goes good going forward. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Remember, tomorrow night, the Johnny's Pizza House, Saturday night Blitz. Got a ton of college football action.
I'll be in Jackson State. Grambling's on the road, looking for win number 1.
That'll start at 10:15 right here on NBC6 tomorrow night. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.